Episode 463, Building Custom AI Assistants.
The AI6 Podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
There's a big difference between chatting with AI and actually designing an AI assistant to do a specific job or series of tasks for you. And that difference is becoming more important as AI moves from something we occasionally prompt to something we integrate into how we work. Hello, and you're very welcome back to AI6 and this special 10-part series on how I'm building with AI. When you open a new chat in Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot, or any other frontier AI model of your choice, underneath this technology is extraordinary capability, but they are general purpose models. It can think with you, write with you, analyze, research, and generate ideas, but it is trained on everything across the internet, so it's a generic model. But general intelligence does not automatically equal organizational knowledge, domain expertise, those decades of practice that you've put into your career. It does not automatically understand your frameworks, your standard. What does good look like? What does great look like? What are our processes? What's the terminology and the language and the jargon that we use in our sector? Or whose role and whose knowledge we depend on to complete a task or a project. And this is where customization comes into play. And when I talk about a custom AI assistant, I'm not talking about one particular product. Today I might use a custom GPT. Tomorrow it might be a Claude project, or Gemini Gem, or another configured AI workspace in any other model. The products always change, they're always evolving. Features come and go. But the important skill is learning how to design the context around the AI. And my custom assistants always begin with a purpose. Before I upload a single document or write the instructions for the assistant, I ask, what job is this assistant supposed to do? Who is it serving? What knowledge does it need? Which sources are authoritative? What is it allowed to do? Where are the boundaries? And what does a good output actually look like? When I'm building custom assistants with my students, I approach it in this way. So I say, hey guys, in today's class, you're very fortunate because guess what? I now have the authority to grant you a budget of €40,000. And with that €40,000, you are going to hire an assistant. And now you're going to write the job specification for that assistant. You're also going to write the onboarding materials to train that assistant in. So I really get them to think about the assistant as a junior, as somebody who is subordinate to them, who is working alongside them, for them, but they are guiding and training them in, and that is their responsibility. And to make it even more real, I give them some time to actually name their assistant, and we use Image 2.0 from OpenAI to design the avatar for the assistant. So before we get into it, I'm doing a little bit of mindset and framing work. And when I'm building custom assistants within Claude, for example, I use projects for different parts of my business. I can organize knowledge, instructions, and conversations around a particular area of work. That means that I'm not treating every project as something new or every individual task as something new, because remember, tasks are linked to projects. Projects might be linked to client work. Client work might be linked to a particular sector or a particular discipline of your work. And if you think about my business, I have a huge repository of knowledge. I'm a 4-time author. This podcast is almost at 500 episodes. I have hundreds of hours of training. I have lots of documents that I've created. And of course, I have my brain. And what I often do is I literally brain dump into what I call my brain voice studio. And there's another episode on that. And so I'm always using the core of my own knowledge to train the assistants inside a tenant that is locked down and that is proprietary to me and not to anyone else using any of the frontier models. I have built custom assistants for the radio sector, for culture and arts, for higher education, for tourism, for local government, for science and research. And the value is not that a custom assistant can magically run a radio station or operate a desk of a particular show, or that I can complete academic research or launch social ad campaigns. The value comes from designing an assistant around the language of radio, around its core audiences, around the features within the show, with building it around how the show is structured, the commercial realities. So it's a defined set of repeatable tasks. So just like in a radio station, it's got programming. So it's live on air from 6 a.m. to midnight. And then they have repeat shows or music just streamed out from the hours of midnight to, 6 a.m. That is a program and a schedule. And we have that in our businesses and in our working lives. So if you want to create a custom assistant in any frontier model, before you know the how-to and what button to press, think about the role of the assistant, who it's reporting to, how you're going to train it in. So give it the context, give it the standard, give it examples of good practice. And then start using that assistant for repeatable tasks and workflow. So don't go into chats every day, every time you want to help AI help you with a task. Make sure you're going into your assistant. And of course, it's one stage in learning how to build with AI. And my benchmark is that any well-designed assistant should get me to around 80% of my standard. I never will accept the first answer, even if it sounds convincing. I'll check the research, test the claims, refine it against my own knowledge base. And of course, we need to have those boundaries and bring the human judgment in. And that remaining 20% belongs to you. And I think of it as my own version of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. AI can get me most of the way there, but the final 20% is where the distinctly human value sits. The judgment, the context, the sensitivity and the nuance to the task, your own experience, and then the final editorial responsibility. I'm not building an AI assistant so that I can stop thinking. I'm building one so that I can begin from a much stronger place based on all the years of experience that I have. And so that gives me capacity in my brain, but also time in my day. So whatever assistant you are building, choose one repeatable task, give the assistant a clear role, give it a small set of high quality authoritative knowledge, show it what good looks like, define the boundaries, and then test it critically. Because it's not just about chatting and chatting. It's about having an assistant that knows the work, does really good work, and that reports to you, and that you have final sign-off. That's it for today's show. If you're ready to turn these insights into skills, here's how I can help. Get your copy of my book, AI Playbook, on Amazon. It's the perfect companion to the show. For weekly AI strategy, subscribe to my newsletter, Human in the Loop, on LinkedIn. Or if you want to take the next big step, you can take our CPD accredited professional diploma in AI. Maybe you need something more tailored for your organisation. You can book a call in my calendar at digitaltraining.ie. Or if you work in government or public sector, go over to publicsectormarketingpros.com. If you found this episode useful, please share it with a pro that you know. And I'd love to read your comments on Spotify. And if you can, take a second to like, rate, or subscribe wherever you listen. It really helps the show. This is AI6. I'll talk to you on the next episode.